You're still watching Prime Morning. My name is Roslyn Fairley. Good morning and welcome. Theodore has already welcomed you, but we think we have to do it again because sometimes those of you who join us at exactly 6, others who do join us from 6:15, 6:20, and so welcome once again. And this segment is a news flash segment. Our guests are coming in. I can see them walking in, and so we'll be having a very good conversation. We have 3 topics we'll be delving into. Of course, the LI is our biggest conversation for the week, where the speaker has said that it could be passed by Thursday. Well, we'll delve into that conversation. Not just that, but for those of you who want to own a passport, Ministry of Foreign Affairs is actually saying there could be an increment in the price of passports. We'll talk about that. We don't know how much increment that will be, but let's see what the future holds as well. Yesterday, MTN, users actually were crying on social media. That, I think, Theodore will delve into that in the world of trends, but maybe our guests will talk a little bit about it as well, and then we delve into other conversations. But quickly, let me go through what the newspapers are reporting for us this morning. And I'll start off with the Daily Graphic newspaper. And it reads, E-jobs for all to reach 10,000 youth. SHS 1 registration today, 477,772 students placed. President hasn't refused assent to bill, says the presidency. 10 billion Ghana cedis goes into Finance Minister reveals at AgriFest. Awards dinner replaces Farmers' Day Durbar. Okay, so instead of the Farmers' Day Durbar that we are used to, it's going to be an awards dinner. So this time round, you're going to sit and you're going to eat. Not bad, is it? Sometimes, we move forward. So change is always good. The Daily Guide newspaper is our next newspaper. Another story that has been trending, and I don't know if Theodore will talk about it, but maybe it's to do with the side chick issue. Now, we all remember about 3 or 4 months ago, there was a side chick that took her sugar daddy to court because he failed to honor the promises that he gave to her. Well, yesterday, the court threw out this case and actually charged her with a 10,000 Ghana cedis fine. Well, I don't know. I'll talk about it, so I'll leave it. Jubilee House fights speaker over criminal offences bill. Tor junior staff back a new deal to revamp company. Police commander Corporal hot over unlawful narcotics possession. And the banner headline, Ashanti MP to partner Bawumia, Gyamfua. All right. The Finder newspaper is the next newspaper. The Finder, free SHS, 477,772 secure placement, 108,025 to do self-placement. Bagbin goofed on criminal offences bill assent, says the presidency. 2 policemen granted 200,000 Ghana cedis bill over we business. Newmont pays 810.7 million Ghana cedis as third quarter taxes to Ghana. Okay, not bad, is it? If everyone was paying their taxes, that would be good. E-jobs for all to upskill 10,000 youth in mining regions for financial self-reliance empowerment, says Ginapo. The Ghanaian Times newspaper, the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper, free SHS, 81.56% placed, 108,025 to do self-placement. I support non-criminalization of LGBTQ persons, says Afenyo Marking. E-jobs for all, 10,000 youth to benefit, says Ginapo. Criminal offences bill assent, Bagbin goofed big time. Okay. And our final newspaper happens to be the Ghanaian Times newspaper. E-jobs for all, government targets 10,000 youth to build innovative entrepreneurial capacities in 5 years nationwide. 6 die in ghastly accident at Brekum. Oh no, this is not what we want to hear, actually. May their souls rest in peace. When it's getting to Christmas time, the devil, I don't know. When we say these things, sometimes you say it's superstition, but it's not always superstition. Because trust me, the number of accidents that are being recorded in recent times are alarming. And so please, if you are driving at this time, this crucial time, if you are a Christian, pray before you take off. Even when you are driving, pray. Please, pray. If you're a Muslim, pray. Whatever God or whatever religion you belong to, pray. It's sad. It's very sad. Anyway, we continue. Government committed to supporting local producers, says Ofori Atta, and the Lakeside Estate sweeps 35th Grader Awards. That will be all for what the newspapers have for us this morning. Like I said earlier, our guests are ready to join us, so we'll take a quick break. And when we come back, our guests will be seated, and then we start our conversation. Just stay.
Get the power, experience His presence, secure His promises, and enter His prominence.
Authority is a function of the revelation of God in the Spirit. So the more a man gains revelational knowledge, the more you have access into the realms of the Spirit.
You can say yes to the word of God, but practice differently. It means you are a liar, a deceiver. But when you say yes to the word of God and we see you practicing what the word of God has said, that is when we see that somebody is in the faith of Christ.
This is a Word of Life broadcast that lights the world with life. With Prophet John Anoche.
Christmas is here again with us, and Volta Serene Hotel Ho offers you the very best, the most fun-filled and most relaxing Christmas ever. Dubbed the Serene Christmas from 23rd of December 2023 through to the 1st of January 2024. Oh yes, if you want to celebrate Christmas in a luxurious 4-star hotel that you can actually call home in the most serene environment, then Volta Serene Hotel offers you just that. All reservations come with breakfast, lunch and dinner. A tour to the mountain of Faja and the Woody Waterfalls on 24th of December 2023. Our hiking, bonfire, nightclub and musical entertainment sessions will leave you totally elated. We are poised to make your weekend a fun and a relaxing one. Hey Pumpkins, you are not left out, as our entertainment game house will be very, very active to host both young and old throughout the stay. Why don't you call us for enquiries and reservations? Make your Christmas a very serene one at the Volta Serene Hotel. Volta Serene Hotel.
Flash segment is what's on. We want to get as interactive as possible. During our opening, Esiedua did encourage you to send in your messages, especially with regards to the new, proposed increment in the passport fees. What do you think about it? Ghana is hard. Ghana is tough, and so the fees might have to go up. Now, the deputy minister has given reasons why this monies will have to go up. But what do you think about it? Let's hear your voices this morning. But before then, my guest is seated, and he's in the person of Adel Umar Ibrahim, and he's representing the NDC this morning. Hello, Adel.
Hello, Rosalind.
How are you?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, when I saw you this morning, I was like, Adel looks charged up. But what's making you so charged up this morning? Today, you're coming with laptop and all, and then you're very critical.
And then let me tip Paul Grave, one of your stations, Asempa.
Oh, okay.
So I came prepared.
You came prepared, all right.
I think I can sing, but I have to counter.
Okay.
They're trying to par. But Rosalind, you know what is interesting? So between last week and this week, a lot of things have happened.
Yeah, a lot.
And one of the things that basically happened was the cleanup exercise.
How did it go?
It was awesome. Brenda was there.
Yeah, I actually saw footage of it.
Yeah, KMG was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they basically took some videos of myself, and it was a beautiful experience. I'll tell you something. For the first time, it felt like home. You know, by 5:30, you could see the people. I did a video, posted on TikTok, you know, and you could see people just coming in, you know, some with brooms, some with cutlasses, some with rakes, you know. And for people who said, oh, there are no weeds in cantonment, no weeds in cantonment. In fact, I did a video indicating, almost saying, you know, weeds in we kind of, you know, weeded, we gathered them, packed them in vehicles, sent them around. We had food that was kinky, that was, you know, it was just beautiful.
But then again, I think 2 days later, the president came to admonish something,
right.
And that is to do with the brandishing of weapons.
Wasn't listening. You know, sometimes when I listen to the president, this time around, it's like when I listen to him speak,
there was brandishing of weapons. Actually, not guns, the cutlasses. Let me use it like that. Okay. Yes.
Rosalind, what do you use to weed? When you want to weed, when the president says, oh, we are brandishing weapons, okay, no problem. When you want to weed, what do you use? Should we take forks?
But you can use a
Should we use?
You can use that one. What's it called? What's the whole?
Oh yes, I know. We can use that one, no problem. But I prefer to use a cutlass. Look, there's nothing wrong with holding a cutlass or wielding a cutlass. In fact, constitutionally, until you use it to harm somebody, it's a problem. Did you know that even a pen is considered as a weapon? But until you use it to harm somebody, you know, it is not a problem. And if we say we're going to weed, we can't use spoon from Madame Rebecca's kitchen. Can we use fork from, you know, Samira Bawumia's kitchen? We would definitely have to use cutlasses. And I'm surprised the president was concentrating on, you know, cutlasses when we were actually weeding. He was the one who told us that he wants to make Accra
so you didn't brandish any weapon?
Well, we had a speech.
Okay.
I spoke. Mm-hmm. Most of our guys also spoke.
You were the farming Nkrumah of that day.
Well, you can say that. Look, at the end of the day, our message was simple. We said to the president, look, if 2016 was fraudulent, the president will not be president today. And then we had a statement which was basically headed by an if clause. We said, we're tired, and we're looking for a free and fair elections. Nothing more, nothing less. Then the president comes to say that, oh, you know, if you guys are planning, what are we planning? We're telling you that free and fair elections, nothing more, nothing less. Take it or leave it. Because you see, constitutionally, what we have all gathered and the resources and everything that we have given to the president.
Was it like a threat?
Well, he can call it that if he wants to.
But was it a threat for you, Adele?
No, for me, I think that if you can walk into my house and attack my wife, that is threat enough. That is what it is. But I mean, I'm not going to sit down. I'm not going to sit down for you to cheat me.
Nobody has threatened you.
Look, if we haven't seen anything at all, we've seen what happened in 2020 elections. We've seen what happened in Ios Westward.
Anyway,
we're saying that based on these two examples, we're sending caution to the president. We're sending caution to the vice president. We're sending caution to all of them. That look, make it free and fair. You say you've done NAPCO, no problem. You say you've done free SHS, no problem. You say you've done USTAT, no problem.
Everything will be free and fair in 2024.
That's all we're asking for.
There's no need for any kind of threat. Everything will be free and fair. Whichever political party emerges the winner in 2024's elections, it could be NDC, it could be MPP, it could be Movement for Change, it could be the PNC, it could be the CPP. It could be anybody's game.
It's all we're asking for.
So let's just stick to that.
It's all we're asking for.
Anyway, let's go into our topics for today. Let's start off with should I start with the passport, or I should actually start with the customers of the agreed Gold Coast Fund customers? If you know, Gold Coast Fund was a company that was in existence until it got shut down. Now, the customers are saying that they haven't received their monies, but the finance minister told the president that their monies had been paid to them. So they have decided to picket at the finance ministry for 32 hours until they receive their monies. They are very aggrieved. One said that he has been owed 200,000 Ghana cedis, and hence he couldn't pay the school fees of his children. Another said that he couldn't pay the hospital bills just because of his monies that have been locked up in Gold Coast Fund. And I don't know, but there are so many people out there who are going through the same thing. Let's look at what happened at Men's Gold. Some people lost their lives because of men's gold. Some people have lost everything because of men's gold. They had to start from scratch. And so when people say these things, we actually understand what they're going through. Adele, your take on it?
Rosalind, yesterday I was watching the news, and it was quite, appalling. But you see, in order to discuss this subject, we would have to probably go a little bit into history. Backtrack a little bit. That was 2019, thereabout, 2018, 2019, when the government decided that, look, we needed to do something about the financial sector. And one of the things the government decided to do was to basically collapse certain banks and then merge them into a consolidated bank. Then you had some of these other, agencies, like Gold Coast, that were running at the time, including data banks and the likes, who were also collapsed somewhere around 14th, of November 2019. I will be sure of the date. I'll get it for you. The major worry is this. So 90% of the money that came to Data Bank was invested in government bonds. 60% of what came to Gold Coast Securities, which belongs to Papa Kwesi Indom, was invested in government contracts. In fact, I was working with a firm back then, Asti Company Limited. We used to get our funds to do government projects from Gold Coast Security Services. At the time, their office was at Asalam Down. I'm not sure if they are still there. So government owes them a lot of money. Those monies are monies that they have basically given to contractors to go and work. Government now comes to say that we want to shut you down, forgetting the fact that 60% of their asset is with you. Who does that? What did Nipaneka? Like you've taken his money. His monies have been invested in projects for you, from roads, schools, hospitals. He has given the money. You, the government, is not willing to give money. You give the contracts, the contractors, we contractors, we take the project. When we take the project, the next thing we're looking for is who is willing and ready to make money available for us to do the project. And then when we raise a certificate, we bring it to you, the government. And then you can pay. Once you pay, we pay the fund, the companies, we pay them back, and then we can also make our profit. You've summed these monies up in 2017, in 2018, in 2019. You're not paying these monies back to them. Then you say he doesn't have enough liquidation, so you close him down.
So if this is the case...
That is the case.
And the government is owing them about 60%. Why didn't they sue the government then?
They're in court.
They're in court?
Yeah, they're in court.
Okay.
So now the difficulty is that but you see, here's something that is ironical. Data Bank had 90% of its money in government bonds, but it survived. Why? Like, when you sit down and you think about them, sometimes it's very, very difficult. So Data Bank survived in 2019. He didn't shut down. His was 90% of his money in government bonds.
They're in court as in they are suing the government.
They are suing the government because our monies are with you. Why are you shutting us down? Give us our money. It's simple. You say I don't have enough capital to be able to stay within a certain frame. No problem. I agree. I admit. Part of the reason why I am not within that circle is because 60% of the monies I have is with you. I've done roads for you through contractors. We've done bridges for you. We've done hospitals for you. So give us back the money. Government says no. Data Bank can survive. Gold Coast die. Why? Because he's competition. So they close it down. No problem. Now you say we're going to liquidate the assets of Gold Coast and give all these people their money back, because Gold Coast also takes monies from people as investments and then gives to these contractors to work. When the profit comes, they share. That's what they do. That's what Data Bank does. Okay. So now you say we're going to liquidate their assets and then we can pay you back. It's been 6 years. I'm hearing yesterday on TV3 when they indicated Ghana Tonight that about 800, I was listening to their convener saying that almost about 800 of their pensioners have lost their lives within this past 6 years. Why? But you have money for National Cathedral. Like, when you sit down
the
and think about...
National Cathedral has been on hold for a while.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like it's been 6 years. When did that one start?
No, but we know it's been on hold.
I'm not disputing. I'm just saying that, listen, you have to set your priorities right. You need to sit down, look at how much money you have, look at the problems you have. You can't have such a problem and decide to just be wasteful. It doesn't make sense. These are people
wasteful in what? What are they wasting the money on?
Wasteful. I give you a typical example, like stuff like the National Cathedral.
Like I said, the National Cathedral is on hold.
This thing started in 2019. When did National Cathedral start?
But it's been on hold.
I'm not disputing. It's on hold today. But I'm saying that if they had taken decisions back then and sat down to look at their priorities and look at all these issues that were happening, perhaps they won't go and pour that money in there. If they had sat down and thought about all of these issues, perhaps they would not put money in there. They would have probably thought of how to get textbooks for people in GSS. But you put all these things aside, and then you go in and you're being wasteful. You're spending here. Did you know? I know we'll come to it. Over $400 million, government is saying we want to give exemptions to some one district, one factory. It's been 7 years. You've spent $700 million every year.
It's 30-something companies, right? Which the parliament, the minority in parliament is fighting.
40-something companies.
40-something companies, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have close to about 700, you're pumping about $700 million on 1D, 1F every year.
But are we not the same persons calling on the government to have tax exemptions on these industries so that we can build our industrialization?
Okay, so tax exemptions, yes, is allowed. You've given tax exemptions for the past 7 years. You're spending you see, for every cost, there's an effect, right? That's what we're told. For every cost, there has to be an effect. Mm-hmm. If I want to move this laptop, and I sit here and I hold it and I push, I exert about 200 kilojoules of energy on this and push, and it's not moving. Nothing has been done. No work has been done. So you're putting 700 million in 1D, 1F for the past 7 years. Nothing is changing to an extent that now, look, they say, for instance, Communal Sugar Factory has been lying there since 2017. You're not producing any sugar. You say you want to put a ban on sugar, 30% on. Is it 30% they said, or 20%? They haven't actually given us a figure, but you want to put a ban on sugar. Which sugar are you producing?
Well, we'll be talking about that when we delve into the airline conversation, but don't forget to send in your messages to us because we want to hear your voices this morning. The voices of the people is the voice of God. Do stay.
And Volta Serene Hotel Ho offers you the very best, the most fun-filled and most relaxing Christmas ever. Dubbed the Serene Christmas from 23rd of December 2023 through to the 1st of January 2024. Oh yes, if you want to celebrate Christmas in a luxurious 4-star hotel that you can actually call home in the most serene environment, then Volta Serene Hotel offers you just that. All reservations come with breakfast, lunch and dinner. A tour to the mountain of Faja and the Huri waterfalls on 24th of December 2023. Our hiking, bonfire, nightclub and musical entertainment sessions will leave you totally elated. We are poised to make your weekend a fun and a relaxing one. Hey Pumpkins, you are not left out, as our entertainment game house will be very, very active to host both young and old throughout the stay. Why don't you call us for enquiries and reservations? Make your Christmas a very serene one at the Volta Serene Hotel. Volta Serene Hotel. Feel the serene touch.
Left us, we are back, and it was quite a short one because we wanted our very own Paul Grave Poachidankwa to join us, and he's here. Good morning, Paul Grave.
Good morning, Rosie.
How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, and I must really apologize for being late.
That's okay. That's unlike you, so
yes,
we understand.
Thank you very much. I went for an all night to pray.
Okay.
To seek God.
I mean, in times like this, all politicians are in church. You should come to my church.
No, but Rosie, you know, I'm not going to church because I'm a politician or because my electioneering is getting close. You know, I have a very good relationship with the Lord. I'm a practicing Christian over the years, and it's important that in such times, if you are with the light, you stay with the light. And if you are with darkness, you stay with darkness. The people in darkness have seen a great light, which is why the good people of Achimbo North are declaring overwhelmingly, from Okrokren to Osem to New Tafo to Old Tafo to Nobi to Obodase to Inginesi. All of them are declaring that the only person that can be able to give a resounding victory in the 2024 general election, paired up with Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is none other than Palgrave Gyamfua. And so I'm in no doubt in my mind that as we prepare to pick up our forms on the 20th of December and prepare to campaign and to prepare to vote on 20th of January, the good people of Achimwe-Buakwa North will remember me, Palgrave Gyamfua.
Also, now the voting is 20th January.
Yes, the voting has come back 4 weeks earlier. So we are in very, very deep waters. We need to be rallying everywhere from left to right, raising our funds, making sure that our budget is good enough. And I've stated that with what we give to the delegates, it's not influence peddling, but it's really to enhance their livelihood and ensure that the local economy within the constituency grows. And so when you hear that I've given some money to some people, is to help them pay their school fees, is to help them buy machines, is to help them buy batteries for their machines that they use to farm. I mean, my constituency is a farming community. By extension, they do cocoa, they do cassava, they do plantain. And so when I support them, is to just make sure that their life and livelihood doesn't come to a halt and is continued.
Fantastic.
So I'm in very high spirits. And I have also extended greetings to the MP, the Honorable Gifty Chumampofu, who is the Deputy Minister for Education. I have stated that when I win the primaries, I would need her support, her counsel, her motherly love into the 2024 general election. And I'm sure that as she's a former teacher of biology, she would gradually understand that the Generation Zs, which is us and those that are behind us,
we are Gen Z.
Oh, no, we are X.
No, you are X. Me, I'm 25 years, so I'm Gen Z.
You know, I'm very sure that she would come to join and support for us to be able to have a resounding victory in 2024.
Fantastic. Now, before you joined us, we were talking about some aggrieved customers of the defunct bank, that is Gold Coast Fund Management, who have decided to picket the Ministry of Finance for the next 32 hours because of some monies owed them. And now they are appealing to the president for the president to make sure that their monies are paid to them, because they say that the finance minister says the money has been paid to them. However, they haven't received any monies. Palgrave, your take on it.
So, Rosie, it's a very difficult conversation. I mean, I think earlier on I noticed that they had done a press conference. This is a while ago, about a few months ago. The overarching goal is not to see to it that aggrieved customers of some defunct savings and loans come to picket at the Ministry of Finance, because really the goal is that people have their individual decisions as relates to how they do their investments. Government comes in as a regulatory body, and also government comes in to ensure that the financial sector is extremely clean. That enables people to do their business and enables people to do their trade. I would caution that the path within which we consistently want to do picketing at state offices should be a thing of the past. There are dialogue routes that can be used to have your issues addressed. And I trust our government when our government does say that your funds have been released to you. And so picketing 32 hours, picketing 24 hours, picketing 18 hours, picketing 9 hours, I think we should save ourselves.
But if the monies have been released, why would they picket?
Well, I think that there are processes within which it will take for people to have their monies sent back to them. I think our government has been extremely very accommodating with ensuring that people that have made their independent decisions as it relates to savings and investments and returns on investments, government having had to do a strong financial cleanup, having seen that financial cleanup sector, if we hadn't stepped in, it would have brought the entire financial sector down. I mean, and I do not want to even remind people.
Before you came in, Adele made a submission, and his submission had to do with the fact that this, savings and loans company actually was being owed by the government over 60%. And this is one of the reasons why they were running at a loss. And so the case is in court. And when we look at even the time frame within which the company has been shut down and the people are being owed, when are they going to receive the monies? And if it's really true that government was owing them about 60% of what caused their loss, then why haven't they been paid this money?
Oh, well, Rosie, government owes at various levels. I mean, you know that now I've stated over and over again, as we speak now, government is running an IMF economy. So having seen that the government is running an IMF economy, having seen that the government had to do a domestic debt exchange program, you know that we are not in normal times. It's not the times of yesteryears when we had a single-digit inflation. It's not the times of yesteryears when we had not been plagued with the global pandemic of COVID-19. It's not the yesteryears when we had not been plagued with Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It's not the yesteryears when we had not even decided to think about an equilibrium and an equation between how we import items, which is why we are pleased with the direction of government to see to it that some 20 items go through a period and a process where Ghana can be able to build its own local capacity to be able to handle some of these items. So I would state that the picketing would not be helpful. I would also state that they should exercise some restraint, as you said the Minister of Finance has stated that the money has been released.
But they're saying it hasn't been released.
Well, I mean, if the Minister of Finance has stated that the money has been released, it means it's gone off his desk. Once it goes off his desk, the government has processes within which funds are able to get into the Ghanaian citizen. And I'm sure that in the next few hours, we should see that they would have their money.
Okay. So you're saying the picketing is not needed. Yes, Adele.
Briefly. So I don't know why our brothers keep talking about Russia, Ukraine, COVID, blah, blah, blah. Look, this thing happened as far back as 2019. As far back as 2019. We have all admitted to the fact that contractors are being owed. Those monies owed contractors, Gold Coast Securities, 60% of their assets has gone into providing monies for these contractors to do government projects. Pay them. So when you say, this is people who have taken individual decisions. No, in the case of Gold Coast, it's not about individual decisions. It's about the fact that monies are with you as a state. Give the money back to the contractors. The contractors will pay Gold Coast, and then everybody is okay. Everybody has his funds. But then it's been year upon year, and we're saying some of these people, they are pensioners. These are people who have worked hard, earned their monies, and then decided that, okay, let's go to Gold Coast Securities, and let's invest part of our money there. Gold Coast Securities takes that money. He says, contractor, come and take it. Go and build road. Come and take it. Go and build hospital for the government. Come and take it. Go and do bridges for the government. Gold Coast is saying, give us that money. Pay us back. How is that a problem? And then it's been here 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And you see, the difficult part of it now is that their convener indicated categorically yesterday that their monies are still locked up. Yes, some monies were paid in the past, but as we speak, there's a lot of people that still owe, that monies are still owed, which needs to be paid. Government says we've paid them. So now Parliament is asking that, okay, perhaps we should probe and find out where the money went to. Because if you've paid them the money, if you're saying that I've paid that, who has the energy and strength? So we're saying that all these people who are lying down at the Ministry of Finance, they just decided that after receiving their money, let me just go and sleep out there so that mosquitoes will bite me and be brushing my teeth in the middle of the night. It doesn't make sense. Pay the money.
Well, Okay, Adele says pay the money. Let's see some comments coming in. Good morning, Rosalind, and your panelists, especially Mr. Adele. Please tell Mr. Adele that he looks fantastic in the smoke. Richard from Jirapa, Upper West region. Okay, Adele.
Yeah, I did the combat thing.
All right, greetings, Joyfire. Please don't entertain the NDC guy in the studio because what they did was something that Ghanaians will not entertain. Since 2018, the NDC have tried to de-establish. Okay. I don't know what.
Destabilize.
I'll destabilize. Okay. Hey, what am I reading? Destabilize this country, including chanting for coup. They should understand that the world has an owner, and it is not the NDC who can change what God has put in place. They should bow their heads in shame, especially their leaders. A very big shame onto them. Because of this diabolic mind, they will never ever come to power anytime soon. The battle is the Lord's. Nana Agunaswetu.
Oh, Nana, you're not God.
JDM and NDC is in high spirits and poised for victory in 2024's polls following their hard work prior to, during and after assuming the high office of the president for the good people of Ghana. Evidence abound. Honorable Richard Manurubi, RM, the people of Nkwanta South is with you. JDM and NDC, Justice for Nkwanta. Okay, good morning, Richard Manurubi. How are you? Those of you at home can also join us for us to have a conversation. Now let's go into our passport issues, where the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs has stated that there could be an increment in the price of our passports. Now, he said that the cost of passports will have to shoot up a little bit because their machines are getting spoiled, printing is becoming costly, and he even said that if you look at neighboring countries, typical example, Liberia, they are charging as much as $50, but in Ghana, we are charging $8. Hence, the government will have to subsidize for passports, but it's too much and it's taking a toll on government. Their machines are breaking down, so they need to increase it so that they can be able to provide and serve everybody in adequate time. Palgrave, your take on it.
So, Rosie, you know that passports are important across this world. It is the one single tool that enables you to travel from one country onto another country. By the good grace of God and Allah, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, with the implementation of the Ghana card, in recent times you have seen how people have traveled across the world. I mean, from Ghana with a Ghana card. I mean, people have testified that they have traveled from country A to country B.
Traveling to
Ghana, to Togo, to Benin. As far as people who drove on road to London stated that they were able to cross various countries with the aid of the Ghana card. I think that Collins Dowda in recent times also stated that he was able to travel.
So how did they get the visa? Where will your visa be put?
Oh no, I'm building a point.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm just asking, because I just wanted to know more about it.
So basically, I have had conversations, obviously government circles, we've had conversations around how government has had to subsidize our passports over the years. It's true to indicate that we charge an $8 for a passport, comparable to other regional bodies who are charging $40, $50, who are breaking even and making profits thereof. Now, one of the instructive issues are that we have almost a backlog of uncollected passports, in over 300,000 uncollected passports. And the reason is that there are people who are unable to either complete their passport application forms, and they allow people who are computer literates to help them with the completion, and also with the fact that there's a manual printing of our passports now. And so if you want to get your passport and you're able to get someone within or without, the person is able to aid you through the processes. And so the person would say, after you have paid your 100 cedis for your passport, the person will say, come and pay either 600 or 1,000 or 1,005. I hear that every now and then. Which is why the Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, lawyer Shirley Ayoko-Botre, went to do the tsunami at the passport office. You recall when she went there to crack down the whip that this cannot continue. So persons that have paid 100 cedis for their passport application and have paid a middleman 500 cedis and have not been able to complete the payment, the middleman doesn't come for the passport. So there's a backlog of passports. Having gone through the entire research plan and having seen that a sizable part of Ghanaian people who want to travel from Ghana to London, Ghana to Ivory Coast, Ghana to Benin, Ghana to the US, Ghana to Germany, Ghana to Asia, Ghana to anywhere in the world, would need a passport, and with the desire of having a passport, after they have paid their 100 cedis, will go beyond to pay 1,000 cedis. Then government thought that it would be good to look through the processes. And the conversations are gradually going into the chamber, which is the parliament, for further conversation to see how we can be able to charge the required amount. And also ICAO is the international community for aviation, also going through a regulatory system to see that the passports that would be getting in the foreseeable years will be a chip-embedded passport. Chip-embedded passports obviously would have all the necessary database beyond the biometric that we have now. And I'm sure that once the processes have gone through and the conversation have been laid out very well on the floor of the House of Parliament, would have a range within which we'll be able to phase out these passports, because I have a passport that expires in the next 8 years. I mean, because we extended the passports for 10 years and 10 years and 10 years. So the conversation really would be, how much more time do I have to use my passport? And if I'm trading in my passport for a chip-embedded passport, I mean, I'm also going to pay the $50, or I'm going to pay a reduced amount of money. So I think that it's all a holistic conversation that is beginning. But it's important that we let the Ghanaian people know that government has been subsidizing passports over these years. And there's a lot of commendations to not just the government of President Nana Akufo-Addo, but successive governments. I mean, because all passports have been subsidized over the years. And it's instructive that people are encouraged that beyond having a Ghana card, beyond having a birth certificate, they can own a passport, so that if your auntie in London wants to get you to come and visit, you can move from Otafo and go to London, or you can move from Nobi and go to the United States of America. So this is a conversation that is beginning, and we'll encourage that everyone against their mind to the conversation.
The thing has to do with the subsidy. You know, as you're saying that you subsidize all the time. So the subsidy, yes, we are enjoying subsidy because Ghanaians feel they also pay taxes. And so if government is subsidizing, it's a thing that is good. Why are we stopping it? What is causing this?
No, I don't think that government has gotten to the stage of making a decision to stop subsidizing the passports. And I think that, like I stated, at the moment we print our passports manually, and so the turnover time is slow. But we want to be able to do things a bit more efficient. So if we have these automatic printing machines, that it's at a whopping huge cost. And so if people pay X amount of money, which is like $50, then you can be sure that if government says that you're getting your passport in 24 hours or 72 hours or 48 hours, that is going to come through. At the moment, when people pay the 100 Ghana cedis subsidized by government, which is like about the $8, the people go back again to pay 1,005, which is more than $50. Majority of the people and majority of the backlog of passports that we have, which is numbering in over 300,000 plus, is because there are persons that have gone in to pay these amount of money to people that they feel could influence the printing of their passports or be given to them. When they have paid their 100 cedis and raised about 500 cedis, they cannot raise the rest. So the guru or the middleman doesn't come in to collect the passports. So the passports are printed and they are there.
Okay.
To prevent these issues from happening, if you're able to raise your 1,000 cedis to get your passport printed for you, then we should be able to have a holistic conversation that the real amount of money for you to pay is about $50. And I mean, the conversations are ongoing. There are lots more that I'm aware of that I cannot divulge at this moment because it's early days. But the conversations are ongoing that, yes, people can be able to afford a passport for even 1,000 cedis or 1,500 cedis. And so to prevent those people from paying middlemen and paying people to influence the printing of passports, and also to ensure that we have an automatic machine that prints these passports regularly and speedily, so we don't have a manual one where someone is putting in the book and printing it out and on and on and on and on. And we know that the printing press that provides our passports for us are the same printing press that provides passports for Liberia, and they're able to do this for them. So this is an early conversation that has begun.
Okay.
We hope that the NDC does not politicize this.
I don't know why we keep comparing ourselves to Liberia, though, because you look at the population in Liberia and it's quite low. You look at lower than Ghana. If you look at their exchange rate, our CD is very, very, it has been highly hit. And so the comparison of, they're paying $50, and so if we also pay $40 or $50 is okay, it might take a toll on people. I understand that people are paying the middlemen, but maybe it's not everybody paying the middlemen. And so...
Rosie, how do you account for 300,000 uncollected passports? You tell me. I go to my village and my community will tell me, Honorable, I'm going for a passport. I'm going to Koforidua to capture. They have told me to bring money. I've raised 500. Honorable, can you top up for me with an extra 500?
Can I say that it could be a failure of our system? Because if my name is in your system, you should be able to call me to collect my passport, because it's not the middleman's name there.
So I'll tell you what happens.
Yes.
Usually when these forms are filled, they are filled and the middlemen put their numbers there. So even the messages that should come to you, the originator and the owner of the form or the passport, that message doesn't come to you.
So what happened to biometric then?
No, so Rosie, I'm trying to explain the process to you. You buy the forms online. Mm-hmm. There are many people who don't go through the filling of the forms themselves.
Okay.
They allow people to fill it for them. When people fill it for them, they put their numbers there.
Right.
Okay. So the messages that come directly from the passport office to that number goes to the one who filled for you. It doesn't come to you because you paid the person to aid you with the collection of your passport or with the printing of your passport. So having bought your passport form for about 100 Ghana cedis, you pay the person is saying that he's going to charge you either 1,000 or 1,500 Ghana cedis, and you have paid the person 500 cedis. So the person to aid and ensure that you don't use the back door to go and collect your passport, once you have taken your biometric, he takes the receipt from you. And so the messages come directly to him. So if you have not paid your balance, the person does not come to pick up the passport, which is accounting for overwhelming 300,000 plus passports uncollected.
Right. Okay. Adele.
Rosalie, there are two ways to this issue. First of all, I agree with Paul in some of the sessions that he has raised. But you see, the Guru boy, or that one person that is standing outside and filling forms for somebody else, doesn't do that in the blinds of the passport office directors themselves. It doesn't make sense. You're telling me that there's somebody who is standing outside, who has the audacity, has the temerity to take monies from people, walks to the passport office that has cameras, that has cameras all over. And the person is stationed there. He climbs and goes into the staircase, climbs upstairs. He's able to access director's office. He's able to access certain offices. He's able to get people to come and snap pictures, when in reality, when you fill your form, usually you're given about a month, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks for you to come and take a picture. This person is able to get in there, get you to snap your picture that same day, sometimes in 2 days. When you snap the picture and you're done, you pay the money to them, sometimes 1,500, sometimes 2,000, some have paid 2-3 times. And then the person pays that amount of money, and you're telling me that the reason why those passports are lying there is because the clients are not able to pay the Guru boy, so the Guru boy is not able to go and pay for it. Why? Hasn't the Guru boy already paid for the passport online? The passport, what government is charging, has already been paid online. Before you take your picture, you've already paid for it. So when it's done, Guru boy can simply just walk in there and then collect the passport and go.
Guru boy wants the money.
Guru boy wants the money. Guru boy can go in there, take the passport, keep it in his house. When you come and pay, take it. Why is it difficult for Guru boy to go and access that 300,000 passports? Why? Because there's a director sitting there who is insisting that his share has to come before the passports are released. Doesn't make sense.
Really?
That's an allegation.
Oh,
yeah, I was.
I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm coming.
But is it an allegation?
Paul, no, it's not.
You
Listen,
have facts. You have proof to it.
He indicated here. Shirley went there. What did she go there to do that tsunami for? What was the tsunami for? Why was she sacking people? See, you can always want to play these things. Admit there's a problem. That is half of the problem solved. I'm saying that when you apply for the passport, say I did it myself, say a Guru boy did it for me, the moment you apply for it, before you go and get captured, you've already paid government. You don't owe government. So why is somebody keeping 300,000 passports in the passport office? Why are you keeping it? If it is a Guru boy who filled the forms and now it is done, it's gone, all the Guru boy has to do is that go to the passport office and give me my passport. Give me the passport. In any case, why are you even handing over passports to people who are not the ones who are the owners of the passport? Let the Guru boy, the same Guru boy, enter there and then request for it, they'll give it to him. And then he'll come and give it to you outside. Why are you giving it to him? Is it his passport? Is it his face in it? Are you not supposed to verify them before you give it to them? So we're saying there's a problem. Deal with the issues. And that is why Ayoko went there at the time and said that, look, this thing has to be sanitized, things has to be done. Look, I admit that people are paying $40 in other countries. I can say you can 50,000 but let me tell Paul. Those who pay the 1,500 and pay the 2,000, trust me, they are less than 10% of the number of people who are actually applying for passports. Trust it.
Really?
Yes. They are less than 10%. The majority of the people from the villages and all of that, most of them apply online. Then they wait for 3 months, some wait for 6 months, some say, I don't have what it takes. In fact, I had a call, it was about 4 or 5 months ago, from a colleague who said that he wanted his brother to do a passport because they wanted to travel. And then, they were being given 1,500, 1,800 if you want it within 2 or 3 days. And then they said they didn't have that kind of money, so they would just go through the process. And then the boy went through the process. It's been 5 months. What about that one? Who is paying who? So deal with the issues. The issues are that in the passport office, there's so much corruption ongoing. If you can deal with that, because every Guru boy that works at the passport office is known. They know them. Sometimes when you go, they'll say, see this guy.
So what has happened after the tsunami? Is this still ongoing?
I mean, obviously, from what Paul is saying, obviously there are still issues. But my argument is that until you deal with those that are sitting in those offices, the directors and you can't solve it.
So you're saying the $50, it could be, we don't know how much it will be though.
Right.
Because there's just a comparison between ourselves and neighboring countries. Right. But whatever monies that will be added to whatever is being paid right now, it won't change anything?
I'm saying that if you don't deal with the issues of the Guru boys, you see there's a linkage.
But maybe this is one of the ways of dealing with the issue.
Listen, let me tell you. Charge passport. We didn't used to pay $8. We used to pay less than that. It was increased because we said we were going online, right? We did that. Did it change Guru boys? No. Charge the $50, okay? After you charge the $50, the Guru boy will still collect you some extra $80 or probably extra $50. People will still pay. And I'm saying that if their concentration is on those who are able to raise money to pay that $80, to pay that $50 to the Guru boy, if that is your concentration, that is about 10 to 15% of the people who actually have it to pay. The majority don't have it. So don't base on that 15%, on that 20%, and then increase the price. No. The problem you need to deal with is that there are people who are willingly going through the system, paying for their own forms, going to the bank, paying for their own this thing, and then applying for, and they have to sit in the house for 3 months, 4 months. Why they are sitting in the house for 3 months and 4 months is that there is somebody sitting in an office who wants to automatically just frustrate you so much such that you would also go through a Guru boy for them to get cuts. It doesn't make sense. Because if Paul is saying that 300,000 passports, I didn't even know this, 300,000 passports are lying down at the passport office, that cannot be claimed. Why is government holding on to it when the Abanis have already been paid? Before government takes your picture, you've already paid.
So the issue has to do with the numbers in the system, and that's why I was asking, if the system is actually working all right. Because if somebody comes to take a picture, you should be able to take that person's number. Some way, somehow, we need to work. Immediately you realize there was a backlog of 50,000. How many?
300,000.
300,000. So probably when we got to 10,000, changes should have been made. 20,000 changes should have been made. We don't wait till we get to 300,000 before we decide to make some changes.
I mean, it's unfortunate. It's just what has been going on with this government over and over.
It's all governments.
Well, I mean, look, things have escalated. Roslyn, look, there's something that is called moderation. In everything you do, there's something that's called moderation. The moment it moves from one place to another, it is something else. My more example. We all sit in this country, we say, when we are going for elections, when Paul is going for his elections, they say, transport is nothing, there's nothing wrong with transport. The Paul Ekoi, more about, okay, with the 20 Ghana. You see, Paul, I had 20 Ghana into the Fafa car from here to here, it's fine, it makes sense. The moment Adele comes or Jose comes into that elections and Jose decides to pay 600 Ghana cedis or 800 Ghana cedis, this is more than moderation. Everything, there has to be a limit for it. BBR, everything that you push.
You are saying
I'm saying that
your government was
bad,
manageable, but it wasn't this bad. That's
I'm saying that the problems have existed, yes.
Yes.
But then the problems will continue to exist. You have to find ways to manage it. You have
but
to
how
find
come
ways.
you didn't find ways to manage it?
Rosalind, I'm telling you that as it is today, it's been extended. Did you know? Let me give you an example. I'll give you my personal example. In 2016, I was traveling to South Africa. My passport had expired. In fact, prior to my passport expiring and me going to the passport office, at the time, at Ridge, the place they broke down for National Cathedral, that place. Yeah. So before I went there, there was a major tsunami that took place there. There were certain young Guru boys who were working there at the time and all of that. Personally, I spoke to someone and the person said, because the date was near, about 2-3 days, I need to give my passport. Said, you have to pay a little extra. I said, okay, Charlie, help me, let's do it. Just like Paul is saying, help me, let's get it done. So no problem. We started the process. I went in there, when the passport was basically printed out, I went in there on that day to pick up the passport. The director invited me to his office. He asked who assisted, and I told him, one of the gentlemen, because I was of the view that the guy actually worked there. Did you know he was arrested that day? The director, there was a woman who was in there who brought me to the main director's office. That was in 2016, we were in government. She called me a day after and said I should come. And then I came, and then they told me that when I come, next time, I should go through the process myself and then handed over the passport to me. That was how come I traveled in 2016, before I had the passport. But the guy was arrested. And I'm saying that you are sitting there. The guys are still there. They keep entering, and they are working with you. And the minister has seen it. And she's now telling you that, look, something has to be done in there. You don't have the right, you don't have the temerity to even want to say that, it is not what is happening. Because the minister has made it clear that this is what is happening and things must change. So admit to that. Now let's say, how do we deal with the issues? And I'm saying 300,000 passports lying at the passport office only because they say somebody is supposed to pay some Guru boy some money and is not able to pay for it. It doesn't make sense. Because before the passport is printed, you would have already paid government. Government doesn't need to keep the passport when it's already paid. Unless there's somebody waiting for that Guru boy to bring some extra money to come and collect. Why would you keep it?
All right. Let's hear your voices this morning. Do send in your messages to us. What do you think about this proposed increment in passport fees? We don't know the amount yet. Sorry. Yes, we don't. But we've been compared to neighboring countries like Liberia that charges $50. We are charging $8 as of now because the government has been subsidizing. But the government is saying that it's not enough. We need to pay more. Their systems are breaking down. Their machines are breaking down. They need, ultra-modern machines that comes at a huge cost. So they need to increase the monies. Paul says that there is a backlog of over 300,000 passports that are in the passport office. If this money is increased, then it means that you do not need Guru boys, and also the process will be quicker. Adele is saying that get rid of the Guru boys before you even think about increment. What's your take this morning on what we are discussing? Do send your messages to us, and we would love to read it live on air. Paul, if you want to say something again about it before I go into reading of comments.
Well, I mean, these passports that has a backlog, just been informed that we've distributed it to the various passport application centers for people to collect them. So I'm sure that that's good news that comes.
When did they distribute it?
Well, I think it was yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yes. I think actually it was stated 24th of November, so last week.
Last week, okay.
Yes,
that's when they distributed it. So please, if your passport, you've applied for a passport, so what do they need to go take their passport? Their Ghana card?
Receipts. Yeah, receipts.
And the Ghana card. What if you don't have your receipts? Because maybe you've lost it over Ghana card.
Mention your name.
Okay, so your Ghana card as an ID, just go to the passport office and wherever you applied for it. So it's not just anywhere. Okay, go to where you applied for it at with your Ghana card and get your passport. You can actually get your passports now. Okay, so we move on. Any comments before we move on to our next topic? Okay, so let's move on to our next topic. Now, the LI is actually a big conversation that has been happening. in recent times. I think for this week, this is the conversation that everybody has been talking about. The Minister for Trade and Industry, Honorable Katie Hammond, actually granted an interview on Joy News with my colleague Evans Mensah, and he spoke about the LI, hoping that it will be passed so that, there'll be some restrictions on some 22 items. There's a video I want you to take a look at, and after that, we'll delve into the topic.
Under the Article 12 rule, as an exception under that, particularly when you're talking about the balance of payment issues, clear exception on that. Mr. Speaker, and then the question of stakeholder consultation. Mr. Speaker, we started dealing with this particular document when I first got the ministry. It is taking us about 4 months, Mr. Speaker, to run through the country for consultations all over the country. It now surprises me that everybody is suggesting that they were not consulted. Maybe it's obvious that every single particular grouping, every single individual, Mr. Speaker, may not possibly be consulted. But I can assure the House that, Mr. Speaker, there was a broad sweep of consultation among all the individuals who now are possibly coming out to say that they might not have been consulted. Mr. Speaker, that story seems to be one-sided. It seems to be one-sided. I have also heard other groups, the AGI and others, who are very happy that this is now coming to the floor, and that they appreciate the extent to which this is important. Mr. Speaker, they talk about Guta and others. Mr. Speaker, I have had so many meetings with the Guta. Mr. Speaker, they are now, Guta is actually part of the committee that will take the decision. Mr. Speaker, let there be no doubt in anybody's mind, and this matter is troubling me. I take Katie Hammond out of the equation. Mr. Speaker, it is not for the minister to take the decision, and I've said it consistently that there is a committee.
Well, this is what Honorable Katie Hammond had to say about this new bill that has been laid before Parliament. Now, the Speaker has actually said that this legislative instrument may be laid on Thursday. As to whether it will happen or not, we are yet to know. But of course, we know there's been a lot of opinions on this particular legislative instrument, because people are saying that it should be taken on a different course. It shouldn't go the way that they are proposing it should go. Some items should be off the bill completely, and others should be added on it as well. So let me take the opinions of my guests, but you at home want to hear from you as well. You already know the 22 items, and so let us know if you think these items, the restrictions should happen, or Ghana is not ready for these restrictions yet. I think I'll start with you, Adele, because I ended with Paul Rev on the other one.
No problem. Rosalind, the issues of these 22 items, I have basically just picked a few of them. And because 22 of them, we can't discuss all of them. But I'm looking at rice, I'm looking at sugar, I'm looking at fish, I'm looking at soaps and detergents, I'm looking at animal and vegetable oil, and I'm looking at poultry. And I'm basically trying to understand why the government would want to take such a stance. You see, it's like what I always talk about when I sit here and I go like, this government takes decisions sometimes, and you wonder whether they are basically under a spell. Like, when they're taking the decisions, it's difficult to tell why they're taking the decisions and why they're doing things the way they're doing it. First of all, you have what you call, in order for you to make a sale, there has to be a demand and there has to be a supply. You know that within the state that you find yourself in, you have clients. Who are the clients? The people of Ghana. They buy products. There are certain products that they want. The average Ghanaian likes the white rice. They like less of what you call the brown rice. Then they are quick to tell us that, oh, Nigeria tried it and it worked, but they forgot that any Ghanaian who travels to Nigeria and eats their rice, whether it is jollof rice or plain rice, we always have issues with it. Do you know why? Because they are comfortable with the brown rice. In Nigeria, they produce brown rice and they eat brown rice and they are okay with it. In Ghana, you produce brown rice, but the people of Ghana prefer the white rice. So there's a demand. You admit that there's a demand. Instead of you to find locally ways of meeting that demand, you say that that demand that the people of Ghana have doesn't make sense to you. You're canceling the importation of it, or you're reducing the importation of it, and then local people would have to, whether they like it or not, eat brown rice. Rosalie, I'm sure you have a cream or a kind of perfume you use and a kind of soap you want to use. You buy that cream and soap. Perhaps there's a reason why you buy that cream and soap. Maybe if you use a different type, a la carte, maybe you may get some, rashes. Maybe you may get some reactions. So you buy this because this is what you need. Someone now tells you that, no, don't worry. The soaps that they are bringing from out there, Rosalind, we want you to use the local one, whether you like it or not. Can you imagine? There is Ghana rice. They used to produce Ghana rice in this country. We know that they do the brown rice, and then there's a little bit of, I think, from the voter side.
We do have the white rice.
We're talking about limitation. I'm talking about the quantities. We're talking in terms of numbers.
You're saying that in terms of numbers, the brown rice is more in Ghana.
Exactly. It got to a time, the white rice, they were having difficulties with it because government used to support irrigation.
There are a lot of companies that produce the white rice, though.
I am not disputing. I'm saying that they produce the white rice in Ghana here. Majority of what we're producing is the brown rice. In fact, the finishing and the packaging, all of that plays a role. At the end of the day, the average Ghanaian, and I haven't even entered into the issues of cost yet. I'm just basically starting with you on the taste.
So you see, I'm sorry to cut you here.
No problem, come in.
On Monday, I spoke to a stakeholder who has a rice farm.
Right.
And he actually just said that, yes, in the past they had issues with quality, with packaging, but currently they have been able to overcome it. Yes, the pricing we can talk about, but if you taste some Ghanaian rice, it actually does taste like the foreign rice. They've been able to bag it. They've been able to put it on the market. Some are even exporting as of now. Maybe not in large quantities, but they've gotten to a certain level that, back in the day, we think Ghana rice is a certain way, but it's not like that these days.
So I'm sure when Paul comes, he probably will cite examples of some of these, like rice, the brands, and then we can probably look at it. But let me ask you this. Has the government told you, the LI says that, these are the 22 products that we're looking at. In these 22 products, if you want to bring any of them, you'd have to come and see the minister in order for you to be given, the approval for you to be able to bring something like that. I'm saying that, has the government told you and I what percentage they're cutting down? Have they told you?
They are yet to.
Exactly. They haven't told you. So nobody knows whether they are cutting down 5% or 10%. For us to even sit here and have a conversation of whether what is being produced here is enough to meet the target. We're not even there yet. We're saying that the LI in itself doesn't make sense for starters.
So it's not about the quality of the rice then?
I'm saying that, look, we can talk about that. I'm saying, look, we can talk about the quality. We can talk about whether the people of Ghana are comfortable with it. As we speak, those rice are running within the system. Which one do people buy more?
I don't think it's about the quality, because the quality, as of now, yes, we do have some chaff in the system, but we do have some good quality Ghana rice.
You know what you do for me today?
What?
After today's show, okay, I would love to have an example of one of them. I would want to 2 or 3. I would want to personally try it, and then when I come back next week,
I'll do that for you. I think on Friday we are having a guest who is a farmer, rice farmer, and he's bringing. And I'll give you one for you to try.
I'd love that.
Okay.
Let me try it. But I'm saying, great. So I'm saying that at the end of the day, you have to look at locally. If you take poultry, for example, all of us know within the past 6-7 months, getting to 1 year, almost a year and a half, how poultry farmers have been talking about the fact that to even get maize to feed the fowls is a problem. You buy at 13 Ghana cedis, which is the day-old chick. By the time you take care of it within 6 weeks or 8 weeks, it is costing you 140, 150 to actually sell one. When they can actually buy, the foreign ones, or they can buy the cold for 60 Ghana cedis. So you have to sit down and look at it. Are we able to produce those differences? Perhaps if Paul can tell me that, okay, the restriction is basically on 5%, or the restriction is on 10%, or the restriction is on what we produce here, we can have a much more bigger conversation. But even if that is the case, why does somebody have to go and see one person who decides? And funny enough, at this point in time, when you have somebody like Katie Hammond sitting on that seat, I am worried.
But Honorable Katie Hammond has said it time and again that there's a committee that you will make a decision.
He's a decider. He's the final decider. Listen,
no, the court is the final decider.
Which court?
The court is the final decider. No, because the court is the final decider. Yes, you will go to him.
No problem.
He can decide to give it to you or not. The first attempt.
No problem.
You go to him the second attempt, he decides, and then you go to court. So the court is the final decider.
I admit. Yes. So the court is the final decider.
Exactly.
But by the time you get the court to be the final decider, it's been 5 years. So I'm saying that people are waiting. People need food. People need detergents. People need oil. People need cooking oil. We're talking about soaps and detergents. We're talking about fish. Look, they closed the sea. They said, oh, it will bring a lot of fish. Have you heard the farmers lately? Have you heard what they're saying? So even fish, which you have added here, you're finding difficulties. Your farmers are finding difficulties finding it. Then you say, yeah, the tabo. I've always said, these people, sometimes I get the feeling that they take their decisions before they actually go back and sit down and relook at it. There is nothing wrong with you wanting to add restrictions and try to reduce and make sure Ghana products go forward. Okay, let's even say today that, okay, rice, no problem. What about fish? What about fowls?
Okay, let me bring Paul Griff into it. Paul Griff?
Rosie, it's a difficulty, but let's see what government wants to do. The government of Ghana, you recall, post-COVID, the President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo's economic address, which was October 31 or so, stated that we're going to have a 6-month period where we would review our importation policies. You recall that? And the overarching goal of government is to ensure that our total dependence on importation is reduced significantly, which is why government is looking to have these 22 items over a period of time reduced in terms of the overarching burden and responsibility on them, so that we can be able to have enough local capacity to provide these things for our local consumers. I'm concerned that we have had to import poultry. I know a company in this country that imports poultry from Brazil, well over 35 years and counting. Meanwhile, when you just cross to our neighboring countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Ivory Coast, you would have locally breeded fowls and poultry to eat. Their kebabs and things that they have are local poultry. So the goal is to begin with a conversation, which is why this LI has gone to the floor of the House. The details of the LI, as we have various debates on the various subcommittees responsible for trade, would be able to address these issues. I think that it's early days for us to make a lot more politicking out of it. I would say that as a country, we need to have our own assurances as it relates to our capacity and how we want to expand the production base and the industries. I mean, you know, in this country, people do a lot of importation, and beyond the importation that people do to sell to consumers, there are individual people who do importation for their households. And so people do barrels. I know people who do barrels on a regular basis because on vacation they'll take their children outside the country, and so their children have.
But that's not what the restriction is going to be on.
No,
it's going to be on the large quantities.
Yes,
right?
but I'm building a larger point that that we should begin to encourage Ghanaians to purchase things that are done in this country, like the bottle of waters that we have. People bring in water from outside the country to drink, but we have good water by
Awake
Ghanaian people.
Awake mineral water.
Even the Ghana Water and Sewage Corporation also, Ghana Water has their own water, Jane Water. So we have a lot of these waters in this country. There are biscuits in this country that are produced in this country. There are fruit juices.
Which ones are those? Is it the peck biscuits and co?
Yes.
Okay.
There are fruit juices that are also produced in this country.
I think that the issue has to do with how much is produced. How well are we going to be able to serve the people of Ghana? And people have a problem with that. The issue is not to do with the LI, but it's to do with the quantities. Can we serve the consumers? Do we have enough? How is the government going to make sure that, let's look at poultry that everybody talks about. How is government going to make sure that the poultry is available to the ordinary Ghanaian, that I can be able to purchase it and I will not depend on the imported ones?
Yes, so I mean, this is not an outright ban. I mean, this is an LI.
It's not even a ban at all, it's a restriction.
Yes, it's a phase out. That's what I would say. I mean, it's a phase out to ensure that we have a lot more capacity. So if we are not bringing rice from Vietnam, or we are not bringing rice from China, or we are not bringing rice from Peru, then we are saying that the rice that we are not bringing, we have the machines here now that can be able to polish our rice. I mean, so that you can still have the acquired taste that you have had.
So are we going to see the government do that?
That's the goal of government.
So
that's the overarching goal of government.
Why won't government start that and know that we are serving at least 50% of the population before they even start thinking of fading it out?
No, but Rosie, whatever happens in this country has to go through systems. And so it's important that you put this LI before the floor of the House of Parliament, for Parliament to judge and to debate it. And once the parliamentary select committee has come to the floor of the House to brief, and the LI has gone through the various processes and is approved and passed, then government can be able to have that willpower to do what the good people of the country so want. And so I would say that, yeah, these are essential commodities like rice, like yamade, poultry. I don't even eat yamade, and I have stopped eating imported chicken, because the last time I saw a container that had gone through a demurrage and it was a fridge of full loaded of chicken, I was scared that Ghanaian people are going to consume this. So if government in its very caring nature wants to prevent Ghanaian people from consuming these things that have been on the high seas for some considerable number of weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and still counting before it arrives in the country, and the people are not even able to have their money to get these things out of the harbour, and the demurrage comes and you cannot discard them and it comes into the market, that's a major threat. So government is looking to ensure that these things are regulated. Like iron and steel. Simple example where President Nana Akufo-Addo has set up the Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Company to ensure that we have our own local capacity to boost these things. So if the local poultry farmers are saying that people are bringing poultry from outside, and so it's not giving them the enabling capacity and enabling environment to be able to sell their items or their poultry, now government is putting in an ally.
I don't think that is the complaint. The complaint has to do with the government not supporting them with the kind of taxes that are on the goods, on the market. Hence, getting even one little chick is very difficult, expensive. Feeding that is difficult and expensive. And now you have to sell it at a certain cost that an ordinary man out there on the street might not be able to afford. So they are not buying.
Rosie, the good news is that this LI helps with government's attention on the local capacity and the local production.
But what has taken government's attention off?
No, government's attention is not off. But you see, that's what I'm saying, that you recall President Nana Akufo-Addo's economic address, and he stated that there's a 6-month moratorium to ensure that we limit the importation of items. You recall that? I recall that. I don't know if you recall. I'm sure the Ghanaian people recall. If you don't recall, I'm reminding them. So within that 6-month period, we're able to have an evaluation, which is why we have seen that if we are able to do these LIs and limit the importation of these whilst we boost the local capacity. I know of one of our one district, one factory that does ceramic tiles. I know a number of one district, one factory that does these fruit juices.
Are they producing enough?
Well, they are producing. It might not be at that capacity, which is why government is not banning these things entirely. Government is saying that let's have an equitable share so that our local manufacturers and local producers and local farmers who are involved in these can also have an equity on the market.
Okay. All right. Let's see if I have some comments. Okay, briefly, and then I read my comments, please.
Listen, before the MPP came to power, their campaign was basic, and they told us that, listen, we're coming to change this economy from what we've always known, which is the Gajesburg economy, into something that is totally different. We want to be able to produce our own things. In fact, this is the reasons why they indicated to us that they were going to do one district, one factory. In that one district, one factory, they were concentrating on almost every district to find out what is it that that district can produce, and then we can produce them and then be able to export, get USD, and then we stabilize our economy. You've sat down for 7 years. You've spent $700 million every year on one district, one factory. You have come until this point and you want to put restriction on 22 products, and you can't even tell us what 1D1F is doing to support this. You're telling us it's a start after 7 years. Listen, this is what is going to happen if they are not careful. And they always don't listen. And they go, and they come back to the same place we keep telling them. This is what happened. When you do the restrictions, Rosalind, it will come now, the little products that are in town, people will start rushing for it. Do you know what happens? Inflation. Price will go up. The rice that you used to buy, the foreign rice that you used to buy, maybe 5 Ghana, 10 Ghana. For example, let's say 20, 50 Ghana, 60 Ghana.
No, it's 100 and something.
100 and something Ghana cedis will now run into 200 plus 300 because there are so many people chasing after it and there isn't some coming into the system. You're already shouting about inflation. We need to do something about it. Look at the products that you are putting down. They are essentials. These are essentials. You say, tiles, ceramics, how many of the tiles are you producing?
All right, let me read some comments. Rosalind, the NDC guy, will always close his eye and lie. Nonetheless, this Girl Boys issues didn't start today. In any case, I think we shouldn't blame the Girl Boys alone because if the people don't pay the money to them, I don't think they will force them to give them money. Both of them are wrong. They should all stop for the system to work. NDC and their lies will always go ahead of them. Nana Aguna Soitru. Good morning, please, at 24-hour. Please, the court closed at 2 p.m., right? And it worked in the day. And if you are to appear in court, you leave your work and attend. So if a place as the court is operating at night on cases, will that not also help? Even essential ministries like Controller General, which has a lot of backlog, can also work at night. And with passport, the government takes advantage of everything. If the people are paying Goro Boys 1,000, they are only eyeing what the people are paying, as they did with the e-levy. My sister, the 24-hour economy will resolve these problems because if the officer there is doing something wrong, the one who takes over from that officer will correct that corruption practice. The government is not able to solve problems, but rather takes advantage. Stan P. Adenta. Good morning to you all. This NPP government is becoming something else. Every day, more increment, more taxes. What wrong have we committed by voting for NPP? Some of us are still regretting for voting for this clueless government. We are seriously boiling and burning within ourselves. NPP has refused to make life meaningful for we, the ordinary people. What they do is to impose more taxes, increase prices, and use the proceeds to enrich themselves. 2024 is not far from today. Good morning, Rosalind. When would issues of national would be discussed as such devoid of politics? Everything NDC people would behave as if it is NPP brought to Goro Boys. Adele are telling Ghanaians there was no Goro Boys in your era as government. We must stop the hypocrisy. Bismarck from Asin Asamankasi. All right, Bismarck. Good morning, Rose, and your panelists, especially Mr. Adele. Please tell him that he looks fantastic. Okay, I think I've already done this one. Good morning to you, Madam, and your guests. Madam, these people are just stealing us, but in a very wise manner, so we have to be very careful about them. They pretend to reduce our taxes, but in a smart way, they will end up increasing others without our knowledge. Please, I need some education on the increment of data bundle. Just yesterday, I realized that they have increased the cost of bundle. First, it was 450 megabytes for 3 Ghana cedis. As of yesterday, they are now charging 398 megabytes for 3 Ghana cedis. So it's like everywhere they are robbing us. God save us from this loot and share government. My regards to incoming MP for Mayon, Alassane Misbah, Sumani Hamza. Okay, Alassane. Okay, sorry. Assalamu alaikum, honorables. The NPP government knows that they have totally failed. They're going to handle the battle to J. Oh, okay. You're going to say they are going to hand over the baton to JDM. Coming 2024, 24-hour economy, inshallah, 24-hour economy, Kowayache. Okay, I think you know how to pronounce this. It's Kowayache.
What is the word?
Economy, Kowayaki or Kowayache.
Kowayachi.
Obiabedidi.
That's what it means.
Achiasi constituency for Honorable Samuel Subraku, NDCPC, and JDM Mohammed Zainul Abidin is on Gokokos Achiasi constituency. It's very sad that the senior citizens of our country are being punished in this manner. Some of these people are above 70 years and would have to always gather at the finance ministry to demand for what rightfully belongs to them. If this government wants Ghanaians to take them serious with respect to the debt restructuring program, their then incompetent finance minister must be fired. He can't lead us into these economic crises and expect bondholders to allow him to use their funds for their so-called debt restructuring program. The elephant size of government government must also be cut down drastically to show some level of seriousness on the part of government. Daniel Akbaliok from Sandema. All right, thank you all for sending your messages to us. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here this morning. Super grateful that you can make it. Paul Grave, you're going back to your constituency?
Yes, I am going back to my constituency. I'm surprised that the NDC feel that a Buakwa North constituency can be a constituency where they can come and play.
Have you seen the numbers?
I've seen the numbers.
Have you seen the numbers?
Okay.
Which is why I'm coming into.
You win. You win. But we are Oze the Ubeshi from.
It's not possible. Oze, there's no way Oze can beat me.
I'll say a big thank you to you. So, Paul represented
I know you're campaigning for me at the back.
Adelma Ibrahim represented the NDC. Coming up next is What's Trending. But don't forget that this Christmas we have our Quizmas coming your way. Are you excited about it? Now you get to win prizes. All you have to do is to send in a picture of yourself and your family to our WhatsApp line 0551 575757 and also add a short message of yourself and your family to us, and you stand a chance of becoming one of our contestants for the Quizmas. Also, we are trying as much as possible to put a smile on the faces of the less privileged out there. If you know anybody out there who hasn't smiled throughout the year, kindly nominate that person and do that on our Facebook page. Nominate the person to us and let us know why the person must smile, and we'll definitely put a smile on that person's face. Let's do this together. Let's share the joy. Gentlemen, thank you. Okay, so there's the Christmas and the share the joy. Which one do you want to do? Which one do you want to partake in? This one we are nominating and we are giving packages to people who haven't smiled throughout the year.
Share the joy.
You want to share the joy? Paul Grave, which one do you want?
What are we doing?
We are giving packages to people during Christmas. Which one do you want? Or you want the
What's
Christmas?
the other one?
Quizmas, where you come and compete and win prize for yourself.
Oh, share the joy.
You want to share the joy. Okay, so share the joy or being a part of Christmas is up to you, so you can be a part of it. Up next is What's Trending. My name is Rosalyn Felly. Now, today being a Wednesday, let's not forget there's a big interview, and our guest happens to be the man himself, of course, Sonny Badu. We'll get to talk to him and get to know every nitty-gritty about him. Happy birthday to President John Dramani Mahama. Today is your birthday. You are 65 years today. Happy birthday. May God bless and protect you. And 2024, the two of you, that is John Dramani Mahama and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
GM's birthday gift is 2025. Flagstaff House.
All right.
Yeah,
we are done
straight
for the show. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be right back to stay.